Hey guys, it's Alana and welcome back for another episode of Seeing Other People. I am so excited today. I am going to be so giggly throughout this entire thing, but I'm going to try and keep my cool. I couldn't be more excited to be joined by Jonathan and Remi Stern. You guys, welcome to Seeing Other People.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here.
How happy?
Oh my God, the most happy because you and I should have met a long time ago, and we're very, very similar in our childhood dreams. We're just the same. So we're already having the best time, the best first date. So it's so fun.
I'm
so
at a
fun.
10. I'm very excited for this.
Yes. Wow, we went from a 9 to a 10.
We did.
I did it, you guys. I did it. Wow. What a time. Okay, well, the two of you co-host the podcast. You're allowed to hate your husband.
Yes, we do.
Remi, you are a life coach, dating and relationship coach. Where did this podcast concept come from and why you're allowed to hate your husband? Do you hate him?
Sometimes.
Fair.
Sometimes he drives me crazy. And there was a point, listen, when you're married, there's transitions, and we had a baby, and all of a sudden you're counting how many diapers you guys are doing, and one's messy and one's not, and one's going out more, and life, it just changes. It changes the dynamic.
I never counted how many diapers I did.
Because you haven't done any.
I've probably done
There weren't enough for you to count.
2 to 4
That's my guess.
in 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And the dynamic changes, but nobody preps you for this. Nobody teaches you how to be married. I come from parents who have divorced, and the pain of watching their divorce and experiencing it, I said, I do not want this to ever happen to my kids. But nobody teaches you how to be married. No one teaches you how to choose your partner. And you go to school for so many years to learn who knows what, not even finances, not even that. Then you go to college and you leave, and you go into a job, but you can change the job at any moment. You can change your job tomorrow, the next day, whatever you want. Marriage, nobody teaches you who to choose, how to be with them, and then you're expected to stay with them for a really, 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 really long time through the ups and the downs and be roommates with them.
Lucky you, honey.
Oh my goodness. Lucky me. No, we, thank God, have the best time together. I love him, but all of a sudden, I realized that sometimes I'm allowed to hate him. And when I realized that, it wasn't as scary. It wasn't oh my God, this is, we've got problems and we've got this and we've got, not that I've ever really thought that, but it was just oh, he's just my husband annoying me, and so be it. And the point is to help people, and it's all the way from dating process of being alone, getting to know yourself, getting to know who you're going to be with, choosing them for a long time, and then being with them for a long time, because who you marry is the most important decision you will ever make, to show them that it's not all, rainbows and butterflies. There are ups and downs, and you can ride that wave and end up in such a beautiful place if you have the right tools. And, there's a reason why it's called You're Allowed to Hate Your Husband, an exact story, but really it's to maximize the most important thing in your entire life, which is your marriage, and how to get there and how to stay there.
I love that. And I think it's such an important lesson and message too, that, so many people, especially in the age of social media, we just see 1% of someone's relationship and we assume everything's perfect. And that is not at all the reality. Not to say it's a dumpster fire at all times, but like you said, you have to experience ups and downs and lefts and rights and twists and turns and things that you have no prep for. You have no idea how to navigate these things. And it's not always going to be perfect. You're not always going to be as in love or as happy with each other as you are on the day that you get engaged, the day you get married. And so I think a huge part of, going into a life together, and I'm definitely thinking about this as I am getting married very soon, is accepting that it's not always going to be perfect, and you are going to dislike and hate things about your partner sometimes.
Yes, it's a thought in the back of your mind. It's
Yeah.
not real, but it's kind of funny because it catches people. They're like, wait, sometimes I feel that too. And I always say it's easy to fall in love. It's much harder to grow in love, to grow with the person and go through real times with them. The honeymoon phase, as we all know, is great, but where the real beauty happens, and I learned this actually before I got married. They say that by year 20 is when marriage actually gets good, and when you actually love falls deeply, deeply in love. And I think the rhetoric that we live with sometimes is marriage sucks, and oh, your life's over and good luck having sex anymore. And we have this negative idea of it, but how magical is it to grow in love with someone? And honestly, he teaches me everything I know. I'm not very good at marriage necessarily. I'm learning.
No, you're amazing
but
at marriage.
I mean, It's definitely like a
You're
learned
amazing at
skill.
everything you do, my love.
But he teaches me, thank you. He teaches me so much about accepting the other person just the way they are and just so many things. So it's a learned thing, and that's why we're here to talk about it and to normalize things too.
Jonathan, question for you. Are you allowed to hate your wife?
No.
I've never hated my wife for 1 second.
That's what I say. I'm literally I
Gotta
crack up.
confirm, gotta fact check.
That thought never even entered my mind.
I annoy you.
You are messy.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
You're not messy anymore.
Not really.
You're
no.
you're really not messy anymore. You really cleaned up
improved.
your act.
Thank you. Thank you. But I always say I'm like,
No, you're perfect. I've never hated you. Not even for a second, no.
well, thank you. But there's literally nothing to hate. I'm perfect.
You are.
I'm like,
Well, as long as we're both aware of that,
Yeah.
that's great.
Exactly. So you don't hate me. Bravo.
So, as two people who are half perfect, one half of you is perfect, I want to hear how you guys met and what you were both looking for at that time. What was going on in each of your dating lives when you met?
Who would you like to start with?
Let's start with you.
Okay. So how we met.
You know what? Let's start with Jonathan.
Okay, fine. Go, Jonathan.
I changed my mind.
I could talk all day long.
I was looking for a partner, and what I wanted were, I'd say, like my top three. I wasn't looking for like a list of 39 things, but my important categories was I was looking for somebody that was going to be honest, that was going to be real, genuine, loving, warm, and happy. And a photo of Remi came across of Facebook, and I saw her, and I was like, she's pretty. She looks like a good girl. I called up a friend.
What do you mean a photo came across on Facebook?
Don't ask. It's fair.
Good question. I would watch basketball on Sundays, and instead of just twiddling my thumbs, either I'd be on the computer going through emails, or I would, scroll through Facebook friend suggestions to see if I saw any
Yep, I know.
cute girls.
If I knew this, I would not
I
have gone
wouldn't
out with him.
only, try to find my wife at a wedding, charity event, synagogue, which I might or might not have gone to, or
Never.
Starbucks. I was on the explore page in Instagram, and I was on friend suggestions, and I would just scroll away through 200-300 people every Sunday and hope I find one or two cute girls to hit on.
Can you believe that this is a thing? And by the way, I didn't know this. We were set up, and he told me this, and I was like, that's very weird. Turns out
Oh,
a
so you
lot
would
of
ask your mutual friend
friends, yes.
to introduce
Yes,
you.
acting like it was their
I didn't
idea.
want to just message her out of the blue.
I mean, this is kind of genius.
And a lot of guys do it, and
Thank
I
you.
didn't know that. And
I've never heard of
Yeah,
this.
Yeah, I
Me
don't think a
too.
lot of guys do that.
oh, really?
I was
Why?
never on Tinder. Not that I have anything against Tinder or any of these apps. I was on Raya, I think,
Yeah,
for a
you
little
were.
bit. But I wasn't really searching for a wife on Raya. I was trying to meet hot girls on Raya.
Oh, God.
You go through the explore page, and like if you see a girl with like a thong, like I'm not thinking, wow, this is future Mrs. Stern here. But if you see a wholesome photo, which you did have, you'd be like, oh, this girl's cute.
What was the photo like?
It's, by the way, it's
It's
probably
just like this. It's just
still,
like a photo of like this.
Wait a
It's
minute,
still
I'll
my
find it.
Facebook. It's still my Facebook profile picture because I haven't been on Facebook in 10 years.
Is your name Remi Stern on Facebook?
Remi Brendlinger. That's my maiden name.
Remi.
Brendlanger.
Gotcha.
It's like I'm not very photogenic.
Okay,
is
it's
the
most
honest
definitely
truth.
not a photo. She's outside.
Can I see the photo?
Is that it?
That might not have been the photo.
No, I think it was. I'm not very
Or this?
photogenic.
Wholesome.
That's wholesome. Look at that. Look at that boring t-shirt she's wearing. That's
Oh
no
my
thong.
God.
She's just.
These are nice photos. This screams I'm a nice, normal person.
This
I'm
is,
not
yeah, this
trying.
is from 2016. These are
Right.
all 2016.
So that
okay.
so
Perfect.
then that was it.
That's the one.
It was just I'm not that photogenic. I wasn't thinking about like my social media pages as like a resume for guys to see
Do you
me.
see a Gucci bag or a Prada
Exactly.
bag?
It wasn't like
or
that.
a Birkin bag in any of those profile photos?
I didn't notice. No.
Okay, neither. I noticed there was none. She was a good girl. She's a nice
Was.
girl, real.
And then then the monster came out.
There was
Nah, there's
none.
no
She
monster.
was a good girl.
No.
Dun dun dun.
No. Yeah, she seemed wholesome.
Yeah.
She seemed
Jonathan
like
had been
somebody I wanted
searching
to
for
ask out.
many years. Him and I have a nearly 15-year age gap, if you didn't know this already. So he had been searching for many years, and then I came along.
I wasn't searching for many years. I'd say for 5 years, 7 years.
How old
That's
were
many
each of you
years.
when you met?
I was 37. She was
young.
23. or 24.
Okay, we have to
was young.
double tap on that one
I know.
for a hot sec.
I know, I was young.
So
And
the
he was
setup
old.
happens. I
She
mean,
was mature and I was immature, so
that
it
is
really
usually
wasn't
how it
that big of
goes
a gap.
with that age difference. So, okay, you reach out to your mutual friend to connect the two of you. Mutual friend says, hey, want to set you guys up?
So on my side, you know, I'd been through a long time, quote unquote, of dating in New York City and being ghosted and having heartbreak and all of this. And I hit a point where I felt really bad about myself, honestly. I hated my job. I was sitting at the office all day and like eating chips and just things to pass the time. And I felt just like bleh, like I felt heavy energetically, you know? And that's what was matching me at the time in my relationships and all. And I was trying to get a new job and I couldn't get a new job. I was at a very low vibration and I hit a point that I was at my lowest and I said, I don't want to meet my person this way. I remember it was a night I was putting on outfits to try to go out and all my friends, we lived together and we're putting on outfits and I looked and I was like, I don't want to go out. I don't feel good in myself. And I sat in bed that night. I was like, how am I here? How am I sitting home? Because I'm scared that guys aren't going to like me. So I hit that super low point. Then I met my first life coach, aka why I do what I do now, because it changed my life. And it was Thanksgiving of this year. And she said, Remi, stop dating because it's keeping you down. She said, cleanse your life of whatever isn't serving you. So I was dating. It was social media at the time. It was the way I was eating food. There was a few things that I had to cleanse of my life. And immediately I felt this shift and I just went up, 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 up. 6 weeks later, so I said I was no more dating. You know, I thought it was going to happen for a long time. Social media was, I think, almost 2 years I didn't have Instagram, and it was so fun. I know now my whole business is there. What can you do? But 6 weeks later, I'm in LA, and his cousin, who is a close friend of mine, called me and said, I want to set you up with my cousin. And at this time, I thought he had this brilliant idea. Let me set you up with my cousin. And I said, you know, I'm not really dating right now. It's probably not the best time, but like we'll talk later. You know, we'll reach out to me. And he said, no. I really have a good feeling about this. Please, will you go out? I said, fine, just because I love you, I'll go. It was the classic thing. I was wearing like these baggy pants with a baggy sweatshirt, probably wet hair. And like
LA
I had
vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Jackson leather pants.
I'm deciding if I'm getting
You
rid
have to
of
hire the right broker. I told my cousin, I asked my cousin, is she a good girl? He said, she's a great girl. He said, can you set me up? He goes, I got you. And he closed the deal. Most people would say, oh, are you interested? Oh, no? Okay, thanks. Have a good night.
Did he actually think this could be a good match?
Yes, and he convinced her.
Because him and I love each other. Like we have a really special relationship.
Her arm for a minute and until she said yes, and she did pretty quickly. I don't know what her initial response was.
No. When he convinced me, I was like, okay, fine, I'm going.
Yeah.
And
so hire the right.
There was something.
matchmaker.
And by the way, last thing, he either fibbed or didn't know. I actually believe he didn't know about Jonathan's age. He said he was.
I was about to ask.
He said he was 32, and I was 23 at the time. And I was like, guys, I can't go on a date with a 32-year-old. This is absurd. He's so old. What is he doing? Is he divorced? Does he have kids? Now looking back on it, it's hysterical. I thought all this stuff. Yeah. And we got on the date, and immediately I have to say, obviously we had ups and downs of our dating.
I was an immature 37-year-old, so I'd say I was around 32.
Whatever. You're like still 32.
My
By
real
the
number
way,
was 32.
You look younger. I have more gray hairs than he has. But
You do.
I know. But we had a really good time, and there was something different in the air. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but there really was something different. And then he drops the ball, and he's like, he didn't know. I didn't know his age. He was like, oh yeah, it was my younger brother's 35th birthday last week. And I was like, your younger brother's what?
How old?
Immediately, and I was like, how old are you? And he's like, 37. I'm texting on the table, oh my God, guys, he's 37. Should I leave? And they're like, are you having fun? I was like, yes. And they said, no, stay. And the rest was history.
Wow.
and then I fell in
You were
love.
texting on the table while we were on a
Of
date?
course, actually at Terra Blues, I remember.
Where you kissed me.
And you kissed me.
That's what 23-year-old girls are able to do that 37-year-old guys cannot do, is
my
text
God.
under the table.
I know, I love my
Yeah, how
husband,
the
but he
heck did you
types
do
like
that?
this.
No!
I know.
That is how my dad types.
Yeah.
I get it done.
Jonathan.
Right, tap, 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 tap.
Oh my God, you have to see his texting too. It's so funny. So many emojis. Just like, it's hysterical. We
You
love
guys text shaming me?
it. We love you.
So, okay. Well, I do get a lot of questions about age differences. So I'm really intrigued. Has it ever caused an issue, or did it ever get in the way of your relationship, the 15-year age difference?
Honestly, no. That's not one of the things that's caused issues, I would say. There's other things. There's ways we were raised, different upbringings, which is very normal. Maybe different
No, because
political
we're on the
views.
same page. You really have to be on the same page. If 23-year-old's desires are to party every single night and the 37-year-old is like just works and has no interest of going out, you probably have a problem. But we're really on the same page. We love to
Also-
party, but we love to stay in. Like
Yeah.
everything we do, we agree on.
I
Everything we want.
dated someone else for a long time before Jonathan, and he was 2 years older than me. And honestly, I think what it was like I felt like there was even more of an age gap there. Like he was much more wanted to stay home all the time. Jonathan loves to live life to the fullest, and that was super important to me. So it could have been someone 5 years younger than me who was like young spirited, wanted to live life to the fullest, or someone 15 years older than me
5
who,
years younger than you.
I had a younger one actually once. He was fun, but it was
You
so
wanted a
what was more
17-year-old?
important to me, I think
When you were
more or less.
23?
Yeah, more or less. But yeah, little cougar. But it's like he said, it was important to be on the same page, and we have a baby, and we go out. We had the best night Saturday night, but it's not like we're like partying. Like we just like youthful enjoyment of life while being mature together. So it worked. You were on the same energetic plane.
You're very much in love with me.
I love you.
Even though your podcast is called You're
love
Allowed
you.
to Hate Your Husband.
I love it. No, I always said, I think, whenever people ask me, I don't think it's as much about the age gap as it is either maturity gap or just values misalignment. Like if you want the same things, then you should be able to work through it, unless your timelines of when you want those things are completely different. Like let's say like you at 37, you wanted to have kids immediately, and Remi at 23 wasn't ready to, then like that would be a problem.
It would be. I had to take her on 5 trips before we started trying. So we went boom, 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 boom. We went to Costa Rica, Italy. Like we went on like a 2-month backpacking trip just to check those boxes because I wanted to get to the next stage.
I would say that's probably like the main thing is he's like, I've kind of done that. He's like, I've been to Greece on the boat, and I've been to South America, and I've been to these places. And I'm like, well, I haven't, because exactly, and I still want to. But we're very accepting of the other person. He probably would have had kids sooner, and I wanted a year of being married without trying. And he's accepting, and that's the thing, is we both feel very free in our relationship and secure in it to kind of express our needs.
Yeah.
And it works. So I think any possibility works in a relationship. Guy younger, girl older, guy older, girl younger, being from 2 completely different backgrounds, as long as you communicate and are on the same page with the same values and same vision for the future.
Same page.
And yeah, we were on the same page, and it made sense, and it worked.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Okay. So how many years have we been married now?
2, 3?
No. 2020.
3.
4. 3.5. 4. 2020. Really? We got married in the heart of COVID. So 4 years. 3.5 years.
Are you sure?
No. Uncertain.
Okay. You've been married for a few years.
2020, we got married in the heart of COVID, October.
So you've been married for
3.5
years.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What were some maybe expectations versus realizations of marriage? I think we all go into marriage, again, like there's no rule book for it. There's no guidebook. We've never been trained for this. And we spend so many years, some of us more than others, dating, trying to find that person to marry, but we don't really know what that means. So I'd love to, learn from you guys of what surprised you in marriage. What were you maybe not prepared for, so that people listening can really know, like, oh, I should actually be looking for a partner that I could do X thing with, or that Y conversation or disagreement could be had in a productive way.
Mm-hmm. I could go on for a long time about this, and I find it
That's why we're here.
ironic. Oh my goodness. I find it ironic because our podcast is a lot about dating, also marriage, but I work with a lot of women who are dating, and Jonathan has a thing, he says on one of our episodes, that it's like, once you get married, it's not like, I did the whole dating thing, was miserable, and now I'm married. Jonathan says, what was it? Seinfeld said, like, you're in Afghanistan now, or something like that. Like then the hard work begins, honestly. If you don't mind, I'm going to hop in and say my answer. I would say that one, acceptance of the other person just the way they are and not trying to change them was a huge thing for me, because I thought that, like, and it comes up where I'm like, I'm right, and the way that I live is right, and the way that I set up the house is right, and my beliefs, you know, like you're living from your own perception, from your childhood, from the way you've been raised, and then all of a sudden you're put into a situation where you become family. I'm going to say this, I don't actually mean it, but like with a stranger, like you guys are from complete different places, and then it's like, okay, but now agree on everything and build an entire life together and like make it work without the rule book. And I think probably my biggest challenge and learning like lesson that I've had is to be like, let me put myself aside, let me put my ego aside and be like, wait, let me see if you could actually be right. Like, let me put myself on your side and be like, are you right? Like, and I could come up with a million examples. Another thing is, anytime that there is a disagreement, an argument, I really try to be like, okay, this isn't me against him. It's not me against him. It's not me against him. It's us against the disagreement.
Yeah.
Exactly. Us against the problem. So I think marriage, you have to kill your ego a little bit. Like, you have to kill the fact that like you want to be right. You think you're right. The way you do things is right. And be like, wait, can this person actually be more right than me? And if they're not, great. Now I'm learning that we can meet in the middle, or my way is more right. But almost making the other person like not more important than yourself, because there's no one more important than yourself, but like giving to them and making them like it kind of being about them so that you guys can be happy together for a family. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think there are three major changes that I've experienced once marriage begun. One of them is actually what you just talked about, but I'll reiterate it, is that before you're married, you're 100% the boss of your home. Of every decision you make, of every opinion you have, you're 100% the boss, and that's it. I'm now living under a roof where I'm 50% maximum of any decision I make, any opinion I have, or any desire that we want to, I guess, get into. So you're 50% now. Like, you have to humble yourself, and you have to realize that even though we respect each other and we're both very free, we're only 50% of every decision that we make from here on out. And that's a whole different mindset. And for the recipe for success, not only is to respect your partner, to allow your partner to be free and make whatever decisions they want to make, but also to remember that you're no longer 100% the boss, you're only 50% the boss. And you've got to include your partner to make sure they're happy and they're comfortable. And that's something that I've never experienced before in my life. I used to do everything and anything that I wanted to do, plain and simple. The second thing, which you would assume is obvious, but like it really is a game changer, is having children. It will just change your entire life. You cannot describe what's about to happen to someone who doesn't have kids yet, even though they pretty much know what's supposed to happen. They should probably, if you really want to know, you should just take a kid into your house for like 48 hours. Then you'll know. Going to visit my nephew was the like most fun thing in the world. I'd give him 100 kisses, get him a couple presents, and then go watch football at my buddy's house. Like,
bring them into your
but
house.
if I had to bring him into my house for 48 hours, I'd know. I'd know that your life is about to change. And
in a beautiful way, though.
In an amazing, blessed, beautiful way, everyone. Yes.
Disclaimer.
Yes, we love it.
The third change is calendar. When I was single and my buddies were single, I had a guy. He was a great basketball player. He would come to the Saturday game, the Wednesday game. He'd always say, "Hey, what are you doing on Friday afternoon? Want to go ball?" Like, he only shows up once a week maximum now. Like, the rules change because you want to spend time with your kid every day, every morning, every night. You want to spend time with your wife and make sure that you have your date nights, and your calendar shrinks, and you have to get approval for everything, because if I go play basketball, she has to agree to pretty much be with our daughter. And I love to play basketball a lot. So, and poker and backgammon and all these sort of things. So if I want to do everything that I want to do, I have to make sure that she's okay being alone, taking care of our daughter, and then I have to afford her the same freedoms. And you really like, my buddy calls me on a Monday. He's like, hey, you want to play tennis tonight? I was like, I kind of would love to play tennis tonight, but like, I can't play tennis every night. Like your calendar changes.
But someone once told me, because I was super nervous about going into marriage because I thought it meant all of your freedom was gone. Because I watched a lot of divorce, including my parents. And like, I was like, oh my gosh, you're signing up for a lot of pain and challenges. And someone told me, no, each stage of your life expands your life in such a beautiful way. So getting engaged, getting married, or having a baby, like it expands it so much, and such a beautiful way to think about it. Maybe your challenge expands, but your strength expands, and your possibilities expand. And I heard one thing once that Jonathan reminded me of, that it's not really love that's important in a marriage. Like, you want to have love. That's obviously an amazing ingredient in the recipe, but it's more about respecting the person, and like really in all aspects of their life. Even if like for a second you're like, oh, but I would do it this way, like respect them for the way that they do it so much. There's a little cute story about this like mixed matched couple that gets married, and everyone's like, what are they doing, these two? Like, they're not meant for each other, but they get married. And soon, very quickly, they realize, oh my gosh, we are opposites. We don't align on anything. What are we doing together? And they go to like, I think it's a local rabbi, but a marriage person, to like get a divorce. They're like, this is not working. And the person says to them, what if I told you that I know exactly what your purpose in the world is? Like, your purpose, I know. And they said, what? And they go, it's to make the other person happy. So like, I want you to come back to me in a few months from now, and I want you, all your focus is on every single day is to make the other person happy. And they go to make the other person happy, and all of a sudden they have the best marriage ever, ever, ever. So
you make me happy every time.
Exactly. And but it's a practice. You have to give to the other person. The word for love in Hebrew is ahava, and the root of that, wherever it sits, is giving. So it's super important to give to the other person, like I said, and to focus on making them happy rather than making yourself happy. Because if you're like, oh, they're not making me happy anymore, you got a problem.
So in a marriage, you don't want what's best for you. How can I make myself happy? But if my goal is to make you happy every week, and your goal is to make me happy every week, we've got a pretty good recipe for success.
Yeah. And you will end up being happy as a result of making her happy and her wanting to make you happy.
Exactly. Versus nagging and being like, give me this and give me this.
Right.
And give me
I want this and you want that.
Yeah.
Let's like start negotiating about what we want.
Yeah. One thing I love about that story too is that, like, you know, maybe they thought they were throwing in the towel, but they, in a way, asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they were asking for help getting a divorce, but instead they got help in the form of advice. And I think whether it's your marriage, whether it's your relationship, whether it's in your job or in a friendship, like, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And asking for help often is the only thing you can do to actually resolve the situation. And there's no shame in it. And we feel like there is. And so we're so afraid to do it. Like, people are so afraid to go to a couples therapist or to confront their friend that they feel like something's wrong in their friendship because, oh, what are they going to think of us? What are people going to think of us? And how is this going to reflect on me? But we all want each other to be happy. We all want to feel good and to have our relationships and our careers flourish. And the only way that's going to happen is if we are able to ask for help when we need it.
Mm-hmm.
And
healthy advice.
In relationships too, like, if you're struggling, like Remi, if you're spending too many nights home where he's out playing basketball or poker or backgammon, you have to ask for help. Even if you're like, oh, like, I don't want him to, you know, feel like I'm a burden
And if she asked for help, I'd be there.
Yeah. And vice versa.
She asked me what my wishes and my desires, or if I ever, like, I got to lose 10 pounds. I want to work out more. She's like, go. I got your back. And if she ever says, I need to go to SLT every single day for the next 100 days, it's like, I go, book it. Consider me. I got you.
Yeah, but to your point as well, I wouldn't be able to do it alone. I mean, I'll have a life coach for the rest of my life, but
I thought you were going to talk about the nanny.
oh, well, that too. It's definitely helpful to have help.
You got a couple people on your team. Honey.
I know. No, I believe in asking for help. I believe in you can't do anything in life alone. It takes a village to make it all run. And if you feel alone, that's okay, but you're not alone. You know, like, you have, and I think for women, especially in marriage and with kids, we do sometimes have a hard time asking for help from, you know, our partner or things, because we feel like, oh, we need to do it all by ourselves and like, this is on us. But being able to talk to someone, like you said, a couples therapist or a life coach or your husband or friends, like you don't want to do it alone. You don't want to bottle it up. And the more you can work through, and that's where You're Allowed to Hate Your Husband came from, is I noticed my friends were all kind of talking about how like their husbands were annoying them. And we realized we're like, guys, this is okay. We're all experiencing like it's okay. And the main thing that's come out of this podcast, a lot of things, thank God, You're Allowed to Hate Your Husband, is so many people DM me and message me saying, oh my God, thank you. Nobody talks about this stuff. And they're like, because Jonathan always makes fun of me for leaving my packages unopened for a long time. And they're like, they send me pictures of their unopened packages, like hiding in their closet because their husbands are going to like get mad at them. But it's all normal.
Why do I get the feeling that girls talk about how their husbands annoy them, and then guys talk about how they annoy their wives? It's like this, we always annoy you. I was at lunch yesterday with two close buddies of mine. And in my relationship, you happen to be the messy one. But in their relationships, they're both filthy pigs. Mm-hmm. He says he gets home, takes his clothes, and just throws it in a pile. And the next day, the pile gets bigger. And then the next day, the pile gets bigger. He like doesn't really do laundry until like he's running out of clothes.
That's kind of
and his girlfriend or fiance now is like, this is totally uncycled. He asked her, he goes, oh, you did my laundry for me. Because he saw his pile was missing one day. She's like, oh, no, I put it in the bathtub. She's like, I'm not looking at that pile anymore. She starts throwing all of his dirty stuff. She's like, if you're not going to clean it, I'm just putting it in the bathtub. Yeah. And I was like, that's great.
You told me whatever's left on the kitchen table, I'm throwing out.
You leave so much crap around the house. Instead of cleaning it up for you, I had to figure out a way to make you realize what you were doing. So I took all your stuff and I just put it in the shower. And then I was like, she's going to figure that one out sooner or later. Right?
This is marriage.
So
this is real life, everybody.
No, it's like, Jake comes home from work and takes his jeans off and puts them on the kitchen chair. We have a small apartment. Jeans.
Okay, maybe
puts
jacket,
his jeans on the chair.
Is he walking around in his boxers?
Then he like goes and puts shorts in his sweatpants. Like he takes the jeans off, puts them on the chair, and then goes into the bedroom, goes to his closet, and puts something else.
Jake's got to get comfy.
Yeah, but if you're going to where the clothes are and where the laundry is, bring the jeans.
Yeah. I agree with you,
and they'll stay there. They will stay there, and I'm like, I don't understand. Listen, like I'm no saint. I leave shit everywhere, but also. The apartment, it's our apartment, but I work from home. I spend 90% of my time in that apartment. Jake does not. He goes to work early. He comes back from work late. And so there is a difference. Like that is my office that his jeans are now sitting in on the kitchen chair. But we were talking about it and like joking around about it. And he's like, well, yeah, like, I put them there and then they like magically move somewhere else.
AKA the fairy godmother you.
It's the opposite for us, but it's the same. I would leave. The apartment is immaculate. I have a nanny and a cleaner that stays here with my wife while I go to work. And then when I get home from work, it's like 8 p.m. I'm tired. I get home and the place is a mess. And I go, what's going on here? It's not like I asked you to clean a thing. Just don't make a mess.
I'm better. Please tell the listeners that I'm much better.
No, I'm not going to tell them that.
No, I'm much better. But this is marriage and I'm being a mom and I've got a business and I've got this and that and then I'm trying to get a moment to work out for myself and stuff happens and this again is life. Yeah. And people should know that it's okay and it's normal. And
what's the next question?
We still love each other.
I'm ready for the next one.
Well, I was going to ask, we're talking about the work in a way. We all hear about like the work, like
the marriage. Work of a marriage.
Yes. Marriage takes work. And we're talking about different times where we might disagree or things might get in the way. But this concept of the work, how would you each describe the work?
I don't think it's work. I really don't think it's work. I think that when you're single, you're trying to find love. And then when I was so lucky to find my love and I asked her to be my wife, she said yes. There's like an easiness, like, oh wow, I've done it. I won. It's over. The search is over, and it is, and the marriage begins, and it's beautiful. It's like, but you don't have to convince anybody to love you anymore. You don't have to find your love anymore. Like that whole game is closed now. So you're now in marriage, and if you just think about it, it's like, I don't have to convince you to love me anymore. I don't have to take you on an amazing date, impress you, take you dancing, and like get you to a point where you decide you want to marry me. You said yes already.
That being said, and I think you're actually going to go
That being
against your
said,
point,
yes.
that going against your point, which Jonathan always says, always date your wife. And you should never actually, the worst thing to do is to get like complacent in a
Right.
marriage. And you should, and Jonathan's actually good at this. So he still takes me to sexy dinners and like a beautiful place, and don't ever stop trying. Is probably the work. It's worse to stop trying. Actually, love and hate are kind of the same emotion. So if you hate your husband, you probably still love them. The worst thing that can happen is complacency and you just don't care anymore. So I actually think it's everyday work personally, and it's fun work. It's beautiful work. It's the best work in the entire world, but I think it's everyday work to give to the other person. And we actually have something that we call our little loves list. And
You keep using the word work. I don't like the word work.
Okay, so what is it?
I think you should focus on always, even though she said yes, and even though you're now married, always strive to keep convincing her and that you're the best and you care for her and you love her and be there for her, and always like just want to make her love you more, and try like always keep falling in love. But I don't know about the word work.
So what would another word for it be? Like, it's because it's true. Like the rhetoric is you get married and like your life is over. It happens a lot. You look at Hollywood, like how many marriages.
You just said your life is over when you get married.
Yeah, that's a rhetoric in the world. That's what a lot of people talk about in Hollywood. I think the shortest marriage is like 12 hours. Like we happily ever after, all of the fairy tales are so cute, happily ever after. And then what happens after the marriage? Nobody knows. Like nobody
We never see that in rom-coms growing up. We've never seen that. It's all about just making someone fall in love with you, falling in love with someone, and then the credits roll.
Exactly. Then the credits roll. So after the credits roll, it is a dedication, I would say. To
keep things spicy, to keep things lively, to keep things sexy, to keep the love burning.
Yeah, so it's a dedication. It's saying that, in one of my podcasts, we had this amazing woman, Devora, and she said, you have to choose to marry that person every single day. Like, say that, like, I choose you again, and I choose you again, and I choose you again, and I choose you again. Because if you don't have that mentality, you'll become complacent, you'll relax into it too much, and that's where it gets stagnant, and you go, I'm going to hop out of the ship. When in reality, if you show up and choose that person every single day, I guarantee you will have a good marriage.
Mm-hmm. What's this love list?
Oh my gosh. So we have a love list. I do it for my clients with themselves. If you write a list of things that, that like they feel really good, that little spark inside of you that like, I love going to a coffee shop pretending I'm in Paris and like reading a book and drinking a cappuccino. I think it's so cute. I love bookstores. How crazy am I in a bookstore? I'm like a nutso person.
The
like,
smell in a bookstore is very unique.
I love bookstores. I run in, I'm like, oh my God, this book. Do I end up reading them? I don't know, but I love them. So I have a list of things that I know if I need to like fill Remi's cup, go to these. I say you should do one every single day. It could be a super small thing, but you should. Also for a relationship, that same amount of care for it is important. And so we have one. I wrote things that he does that make me really happy. So one thing that he'll do is like once in a while, he'll kind of surprise me. It's really cute. And he'll just on like little Post-it notes, like leave me a message on, if he goes to work early, be like, I love you so much. Have the best day on the mirror. And like, it literally is one of those things that just catches me by surprise. And I'm like, oh my God. And I get that feeling of when we first started dating and I got like a text message from him. So I said that that's one of mine. Also going on trips is one of mine. I get that spark again.
See, that's the thing. I continue. I did so many cute things when we were dating. Remember like a lot of our cute gestures. I want to keep that alive. Mm-hmm. So the Post-it notes are, by the way, in heart shape.
They're so cute.
So they're like really cute Post-it notes. Cute. But you gotta keep doing cute things, even though the game of trying to find your wife is over. Now you you gotta keep being cute.
So I read a list of things that make me happy, and I think you mentioned that like it would be really nice if Jake would buy you flowers more often. Typically, men don't realize what girls like about buying flowers, but if you make your focus on making the other person happy in the way that makes them happy, then that's the recipe for success. And then he wrote his list of things that makes him happy. One of them is me sitting on his lap. Like he likes when I go around the table and I sit on his lap. It's something silly like that.
Yeah.
Another one is taking me dancing and twirling and stuff like that. And if there's ever a point, which it happens, where there's like a lull and we haven't seen each other in a bit of time and we had some disagreement about something, I'll go look at the list. His is on my side of the bed and vice versa.
I have something to add to our love list.
Yeah, tell me.
It's our mafia game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we play a fun mafia game
Like-
for another time.
Like
the mafia kind
game?
of, yes.
No, it's a new mafia game.
A new
I made
mafia.
it.
Is it a two-person mafia game?
Well, it depends on the type of relationship you're in.
Next
but-
question.
Okay, next question.
You don't want me to talk about the mafia game?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, now that you guys have a few years of marriage under your belt and you know the dedication that goes in to keeping the spark, the romance, the love alive, is there anything that, of course, we wouldn't change a thing about when we were single because it led each of us to each other, and now led you guys to me and me to you,
Yes.
BFFs. But is there anything that you wished you could like go back in time and tell yourself about how you were dating or the things that you were looking for that would maybe help you from getting hurt a few extra times or just steer you in a better direction to find your person?
100%. Do you want to go first?
Nope.
Okay, I will. So things that I would have changed, absolutely. I think the biggest one is that I fell into a cycle of dating where I wanted them to like me so badly. And if they liked me, that's how I felt good about myself and worthy. And it is probably the most destructive way to date, to be like sitting across and be like, oh my God, should I say this to make them like me? And should I be like this to make them like me? And then if they don't, you leave and you're like, then there is something wrong with me and I'm unlovable. So when you're signing this contract of marriage, which is a beautiful contract, you should be focused on whether or not you like the guy. And that comes with first doing the inner work and filling yourself up so that you know you're lovable, you know you're worthy. You don't need someone else to tell you that because you are. And inherently, every single person is so worthy and lovable. And to live in that state is honestly very beautiful and sexy. If you're whole and full and shining and glowing and laughing and joyful, like there is nothing more beautiful than that. And so if you're living in that state, doing the work, showing up every single day, and then going to find the person who your values line up with, your life, your vision for your life matches up with, you are going to not only choose yourself, but you're going to choose the right person for you. And once you can choose the right person, it's easy. Like I said, you choose the person every single day. It's easy to come back to, I choose you today, and I choose you today, and I choose you today, because you know why you're in it, versus like, because you make me feel whole and full. Because what happens when they're busy sometimes and you feel that lack again, and like you're waiting for that person to fill you up. They're not there to fill you up. They're there to amplify your life and maximize your life, but you have to fill yourself up. So I have a million things, and this is what I do, thank God, for a living, because I made a million mistakes and I learned from them, and now I like to help women learn before making the mistake, maybe, but maybe the mistake has to happen, you know? But really filling yourself up and being the best version of yourself that you can be, so that you can attract the best person for you, is a huge part of it.
I think that if I had any advice to give, because I think you have a lot of girlfriends right now that are single, dating, going through heartbreaking relationships, breakups, and a lot of them are down. I would tell you to just keep your head up. Always keep your head up. If you know what you want and you're in a great relationship, because I've been in some really amazing relationships, they don't work out for whatever the reasons are, just keep your head up, because around the corner is the most amazing partner you could ever dream of. And it's a journey. It's not always going to be your first boyfriend or your second, but keep your head up, stay happy, keep strengthening yourself, keep surrounding yourself with friends that support you, that are happy, that want your happiness, that wish for your happiness, and just trust yourself.
A lot of trust, a lot of faith.
That was beautiful.
Thanks.
Similarly, on that note, I'm curious from your perspective, you had like 20 years of dating under your belt, right?
20 years of having fun and dating, but serious dating, I'd say like 7 years.
Okay. I'm just quoting you from previous episodes.
Well, I just want to. I want to make sure that everybody
Okay.
understands. It's not like 20 years I was looking for my wife.
Okay. Good. No, I appreciate the clarification. What do you think the biggest mistakes that women make in dating are?
The biggest mistakes that women make in dating, wasting your time is one of the biggest mistakes that you'll make.
Wasting their own time or
Wasting their own time. A woman should not be wasting her own time.
With someone who's not serious.
Well, I don't think she should waste her own time in any of the ways that you can waste your time. I think that a lot of girls go on dates so that the guy likes her. She really should go on dates and be confident enough with herself to only think for herself. She wants to go on a date and say, do I like this guy? Stop spending the majority of the date trying to have him like you, but, focus on yourself, focus on your happiness. And so many times a girl will go on 10 dates and be like, wow, nobody's asked me on a second date. And I'd say to that girl, wait, you wanted to go on a second date with every single one of them? Be a little pickier. Go and find a great guy, and that's the guy you really want to go on a second date with. But you can't want to go on a second, third, and fourth date with every single guy that says yes on Tinder or Hinge. That's not the goal. The goal is to find somebody that you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems like the theme. I don't know. We've actually probably never said that on our podcast, but it seems like the theme is to know what you're looking for and express that that's what you're looking for and find it. And also, don't waste your time trying to convince somebody to like you who is not your person, because that's a waste of time. Not like we're on a time crunch, but for your own enjoyment of dating, don't waste your time with people who aren't right for you. It's not worth it. So even if it's hard to cut something off, there is something better right behind that door. Close the door to open up a much more beautiful door.
I've never heard, I really am trying to think about this, and I don't think I've heard of a situation amongst the people I know and the listeners I've talked to where somebody begged somebody else to stay or to be with them where it actually ended up working out. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel good to do. It feels awful.
I have in business too. Why would I ever, people are like, isn't sales hard? I'm like, no, because I only want people who want what I have to offer. Yeah. It's a complete two-way street. And how good does it feel when someone shows up in dating and anything and they want it so badly and you want it? Imagine what you can create there together versus begging somebody to stay. And that takes a lot of faith that let's say, for example, with rejection, like Jonathan said, if you're not being asked on a second date, if you're coming from the place of, I want them to like me, then it's a rejection of you as a person. Versus if you're like, great, they aren't interested, I wasn't even that interested, there's no rejection there. It's just redirection to the next person, which is one of my favorite quotes.
Sales are not that hard for you because you're selling a great product. And for this good lesson that I'm about to give everyone right now, if you're selling the wrong product, if you're being fake, if you're being untrue to yourself, then it's going to feel icky. So just always be true to yourself. And if it works out, phenomenal. If it doesn't, phenomenal is around the corner. So
yeah. And also going along because I love that, going on this metaphor of sales, you should only sell something that you love, right? If you actually love the pen, then you can sell it with your eyes closed easily. Here's the pen, you can sell it, right? If you, obviously we're not selling ourselves in dating, but just going with this metaphor, but it's so important for you to love yourself the same way that if you know that your product is good, aka you love yourself, then it makes it much easier to find the right person versus if you're not loving yourself. And by the way, if you're not there, it's okay. It's okay. If you're not loving yourself and you're just I'm the most amazing person in the world. If you feel down about yourself, that is okay. There is something you're learning in this moment and growing from it. So embrace it. Be open to the lesson that is coming through. And there's no better time than the present to start doing the work to love yourself. And it's an everyday job. For,
And
not,
if you're selling and nobody's buying, then you need to go take a closer look at your product. So your business is thriving because, thank God, you're very talented and you're sharing amazing wisdom. But if you're selling and selling and selling and nobody's buying, you got to take a closer look at what you're offering, and
Or how
you
you're
might have to
offering it.
improve that. You might have to improve yourself. You might have to go work out more, go read more, spend more time with the right type of friends. And so
yeah, and that's what happened to me. Is I was dating and dating and dating and dating, and it wasn't working. And I was like, I don't get it, universe. Where are you? I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I wasn't. So I had to reevaluate. Look, I got my first life coach, and she said there are things that are not serving you that you're keeping here. It's you can't bring in new furniture until you get rid of the old. So I had to change what I was selling, honestly. And it's not change it because it's the idea of you are complete, you are whole, but you're not complete, because we're never complete. You're always a work in progress. Like, that's a beautiful thing. It's such an amazing thing to embrace, that you're a work in progress. You are complete because you are perfect and whole and worthy and all of those things. But what if you start mixing it up, doing things differently, going to yoga which could be a new thing, and all of a sudden you love it and it fills you up, or going to museums, or starting an art class, or like this excitement and capability to kind of try new things and be the best version of yourself.
You should work. You should be philanthropic. If you're looking for a good guy, figure out where would these good guys be hanging out, and go to those places.
Yeah. Surround yourself by people that you want to find.
And I think that's a
by.
huge piece of advice during this dating app era, where I know a lot of women who I work with are very frustrated with the dating apps. And I'm sure this is a conversation you have quite often on your podcast, which I know it is. But if you want to get off the dating apps, the good news is, and there's a million ways and there's some great apps out there, of course, but a good thing to do is go to places that you feel really good. I once heard that to find your soulmate, you should get really close to your soul and start to like really fill up your soul. So go to places that make you spark, kind of like that love list that we talked about before. It works in marriage. It also works when you're single. I signed up for an art class. No, I didn't meet my husband at the art class, but you never know. He could have been there. Or like I said, like going to the coffee shop. What if
I'm a great artist.
He actually is. By the way, most of the pieces I'll show you when we walk out are his pieces. He's great, but we didn't meet there. But if you can go to places that fill you up and you're shining and you're glowing in those, guess what you're going to attract? Amazing things to you. So
100%.
So I love that. Like, look at what you're doing, see if you can improve it, love yourself, and everything else will follow.
There has been so much amazing advice and wisdom from both of you, so I don't really know how we're going to top it, but I always end on this question, so I still have to. What is the best piece of dating advice you've ever received or have to give?
You don't want to ask me, because I could make this podcast episode a 2-hour episode. So which one am I going to choose?
The best one.
It's very simple, but not simple at all, because it is something that you have to work at, honestly. And that is to be your best self, shine, glow, be as joyful as possible, because happy is different. Happy is like, I will be happy when this happens to me. So I'm so sorry I can't choose one, but I'm going to try. So often people go, when I have the relationship, I'm going to do all the things I want to do. I'm going to go to dinners and travel and this and that, and I'm going to be happy and settled and confident in this. I say flip the script. Be happy, be confident, be all those things that you think you'll become when you have the relationship. So be those things. Do the things you would do in the relationship. Go to the places. Go travel. Live your life fully right now. Don't wait. Why are we waiting? Why are you waiting for the marriage and the relationship to do all of those things? And then I guarantee you, once you be that person, you do those things, you will have what you want. So that includes being joyful, being your best version of yourself. Last thing I'll say, and then I promise I will not say anymore, is that at our wedding day, the rabbi who married us said to us, in conventional wisdom, 1 + 1 = 2. But today, 1 + 1 = 1, because what happens when you're single is you are filling yourself up to 100% version of yourself. Guess what? Your partner is too. You want a 100% partner, so you might have to be patient. They might be a few steps not quite there. So also, if you're dating, you haven't met them, it has nothing to do with you. They could not be there yet. So just trust the universe. But if you focus on filling yourself up to that 100% and you trust that your partner is doing it too, you make a much bigger, more beautiful, greater 100%. And I say for me, it's like it went ding, ding, ding. And very quickly, once I hit the top, 6 weeks later, I met Jonathan, or really right then. So it can happen overnight. Don't be discouraged. Have fun. And if I were to give you a crystal ball and say you were to meet your person in 1 month from now, 1 year, if it's happening very, very soon, I give you the crystal ball, look into it. What are you going to do between now and then? Are you going to sit and sulk that it hasn't happened yet? Or are you going to go have some fun and be like, wow, I really enjoyed my last month being single, like go enjoy. It's a great time. So that would be my one of a million things I could say. I'll stop there.
I think that if you want wise dating advice as to how to find a great partner for yourself, believe it or not, my advice would be to take care of yourself first. Be healthy, be happy, find your happiness, surround yourself with friends that truly care for you and your future and your well-being. Don't sit around, why does this guy not texting me back? Oh my gosh, Nick Jonas is just not interested. Why is he not interested? He cares more about his basketball posts than, asking me on a date. Why doesn't he want to ask me to be his girlfriend? Like, don't think about any of these things. Just take care of yourself. Go, if you have a job, great. If you don't, go work. Go find a project. Fill yourself up with healthy, happy activities where you strengthen yourself and you're your best self, and go to the right places where you want, where you want to meet great people, and think about it. Think about your future, and that would be my advice.
Jonathan once said, last thing, because by the way, we might sound a little redundant because everything I know is Jonathan teaches me.
Well, I love that.
So that's why we sit and talk about this all day long. But Jonathan once said, if you're dating and you're looking for someone, stop looking for someone. Like, if you focus on anything that's not, if you're sitting there and be like, I'm looking, I'm trying to find, then you're like putting too much energy into that. Stop looking. Of course, intentionally date. Know that you want to meet someone. It's great to want to meet someone. That's an amazing thing. But go do everything that's not meeting the person. Mm-hmm. And if you have a passion project, go do it. If you like volunteering, like you said, go do it. Whatever you like to do, focus on that. And I guarantee you this part will come in. So it all wraps together. But if you're looking to meet someone, kind of stop focusing on it. We believe in intentional dating. We don't believe in like over casualizing dating, but go build a life that you're excited about and you're proud of, and someone will slip right in before you know it.
And find the right partner in crime. I've seen girls who like hang out with other girls looking for guys, and I was just like, you're hunting in the wrong jungle. Like, you should be a little bit smarter with where you hang out, who you hang out with. And so a lot of it, of course, is putting yourself in the right place and then just trusting the process. But you do need to feel good yourself when you're there.
For sure. Guys, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. Jonathan, bravo.
Can you believe I got him to do this with me?
I'm very, very proud. You're a pro at this now. You are.
It's my rookie season.
No,
it's
it's
actually
not.
the first time I'm a guest on anybody's
You crushed
podcast.
it.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to be your first.
Did you have exactly? Did you have fun being
I had
a
the
guest?
best time of my life. Sorry,
Wow.
honey.
Wow. Did it live up to the 10 out of 10 expectation?
I'm at an 11. I'm at
Wow.
an 11.
There we go.
Through the roof of this very tall building. Okay. Where can everybody find you, Remi? Are you accepting new clients? Do you have anything on the horizon that you want the listeners to look out for if they want coaching from you? And where can everybody find the podcast?
Amazing. So the podcast, You're Allowed to Hate Your Husband, on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you want to find it. It's a fun time, so we hope to see you there. For my own coaching business, Levy by Remi, Levvi by Remi. And I have incredible programs. I would love to find the one that is perfect for you if you're looking for this. So you can hop on my Instagram, DM me, go to my website. We can book a quick chat and let's get you living your best life and finding the perfect person for you, to whoever's listening. And yeah, I would love to chat with you even. So thank you so much, Alana.
Thank
we are
you so
obsessed with you. This
much.
has been so fun.
The feeling is so mutual.